The World Economic Forum recently, Klaus Schwab, the World Economic Forum. Do you like my accent? Klaus Schwab, mind you, the guy whose parents, I have to say this, the guy whose parents moved to Germany in the 1930s, to Germany in the 30s. That's the equivalent of moving to California in 2024. Moved to Germany in the 30s because they really liked what that Hitler guy was doing over there and the Nazis were doing over there. They thought they had a really strong premise over there, so they moved on over to Germany. That Klaus Schwab, he made a bold proclamation recently. Made a very, very bold proclamation, and I'll pull it up so I can read it off here. Let's see here. The World Economic Forum. Klaus Schwab has suggested that elections, as we currently know them, which they don't have a great reputation in the present day, elections be replaced by AI. This is what, reminder, if this was just some whack job on Twitter, we wouldn't report this. These are wealthy people that have their fingers in the politics of just about every country in the world, right? Including the United States. Lots of influence in the United States. Donate to a lot of these campaigns. And they have a vision for how the world's going to be run. They've said it straight up. One world government, new world order. Klaus Schwab wants to replace elections with AI. So instead of people going to vote, you would have a computer system analyze the two candidates, right? And then it would pick the best one for you because the AI knows better than you. They couldn't have found someone to be a more perfect villain. Truly. Look at this guy, Klaus Schwab. Look at he dresses like a Star Wars villain. The thick German accent, all of it. They couldn't have found a better villain than Klaus Schwab. Like, he's almost such a good villain that it's hard to believe that he's actually a villain. You're like, no, that guy? The guy that dresses like the comic book villain, that guy. No way, man. That guy's got that's too obvious. That guy like donates time to dog shelters on weekends or something, right? Not that guy. It's never that guy. The devil's always in disguise, right? Well, no, he's not. Not right now. No, this is how stupid they think you are. They can roll out a guy that looks like a comic book villain. And you're going to fall for it. Half this country is going to fall for it and think this is some great visionary man who we should all fall in line with. AI to replace elections. Computers. Who designs the AI? We don't know. Because there's nothing that could go wrong there. Nothing could go wrong there if AI decides the elections. I mean, why not? That's the problem. Is as crazy as this shit is, this is what the influential global leaders, politicians, business moguls, thinkers, whatever you want to call them, philosophers, they all get together once a year in Davos, and this is their vision for all of us, the degenerate slave scum, for the future. They've outright said, you will own nothing and you'll like it. They want people to own nothing. So it's like I've said this entire time. All of the things you see in this country are getting that we have a problem with and we cover on this show is them preparing us for the World Economic Forum's ultimate vision. They don't want you to own anything. You can't own land, can't own a vehicle, nothing. It's all state-owned property, so communism, Marxism, right? You're completely disarmed like livestock. You have no freedom of speech. So when you see these people start lynch mobs against comedians because they made problematic jokes, that's how they do it. If they can get you on board with hey, that comedian, yeah, I mean, freedom of speech, but come on, man. That's problematic speech. Come on, can't we just make an exception and shut him down? That will eventually segue into... No, you can't criticize the government anymore. They don't just throw it all on you at once. They slowly get you on board with these ideas, right? So they slowly get you on board. Once they get you on board with canceling the hateful quote-unquote racists and the offensive comedians and the talk show hosts that say problematic things, it gets a little bit easier. They just take a little bit more, another inch, another 5 inches, 10 inches, and then by the time before you know it, it's illegal to criticize your government, which, by the way, is one world. It's centered thousands of miles away. That's what free speech. The green energy push, green energy, the electric car push. By the way, where I'm from, had a massive blackout. Nobody in electric cars could get anywhere. No one. Nobody could get anywhere. They all zapped the battery and died. Side note. But the electric energy push, they know that, number one, not everyone can afford these $60,000 cars. Number two, the grid can't afford to sustain everybody having an electric vehicle. They know it's completely unfeasible. It's not about getting everyone an electric vehicle. It's about the elites, the people that have the money, can buy the electric vehicles. But the rest of us, degenerate slave scum, we hop on the bus. And what does that make us? That limits our freedom of movement, because now we're dependent on the state to get anywhere through public transportation. I mean, yeah, we could technically walk, but so 8 hours to get across town? No, I'm good. The gender thing. It's about depopulation. You push these kids into these procedures that sterilize them, and they can't have kids, and they turn around and go, wait a second, that's not what I wanted. I was 14 years old, and you put me on this shit. Now I can't have kids, and I'm screwed up, and I've got all these mental issues from it. I'm going to check out. And they usually check out with a rope or the barrel of a gun. They're infecting the youth with that. It's all rooted in what the World Economic Forum's vision is for us as a species. Everything they do here, everything you see from the Biden administration and the social policies you see these maniacs pushing, you're like, wait a second, 5 years ago, that would have been completely insane. You know, the abortions up to the date of birth. That type of stuff. It's just all to gaslight you, to trick you, and to slowly get people on board. They're useful idiots, most of whom are liberals, but there are some conservatives and moderates as well. But to get their useful idiots on board with complete control, and it'll come, and it won't be like a movie. There won't be troops landing on American soil and dragging people from their homes that'll come afterwards. No, it'll slowly creep up on us, and before we know it, it'll be too late. That's the goal. That's why they're doing what they're doing. These people aren't stupid. They didn't get to the position that's the greatest mistake we can make, is to underestimate our enemies. We can sit here and we can look at people like Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and say these people are fools. These are the dumbest people in the world. There's no way anybody could take these people seriously. They're not a real threat. That, I promise you, that's the biggest mistake we could make. You can say what you want about their policies. We can argue that till we're blue in the face. But at the end of the day, the reality here is nobody gets that high in national politics. Nobody gets that high in business. Nobody gets that high in media without being somewhat intelligent. They're not stupid. They may make some stupid decisions and say some stupid things along the way, but trust it. Trust me when I tell you. Everything they do is following a greater plan to collapse this country, push us into chaos, and then rebuild it in their Marxist dream. That's the goal. That's the end game here. It always has been. Since they took John F. Kennedy out back in the 60s, that's been the goal. And there have been some hiccups in the way. A guy named Donald Trump happened that they didn't like too much. They're now calling him at the World Economic Forum the biggest threat. So if you're on the fence about Trump, you guys know me, I'm not a big Trump guy, right? So I'm speaking to a lot of you that maybe you're not crazy about Trump the person. Maybe the policies were okay, but you're not crazy about Trump the person. When we have the World Economic Forum, the people that have straight up said they want Americans to own nothing. They want to take everything you own from you and get you dependent on the government. Their words, not mine. They have said that on multiple occasions. They want to take everything. When the people who want to take everything from you have labeled one guy their biggest threat, maybe we should set our differences aside about his moral character and some of the things he said and say, okay, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. If this guy is such a threat to the people that have this global agenda to destroy this country and to flush our values down the toilet, trample on our faith, rip my children from me, control everything, the people who want to take everything from me hate this one guy, maybe I can swallow my pride and vote for him once. Because Biden's a puppet. Biden's a WEF puppet. 100% he is. You cannot convince me otherwise. He is acting in 100% accordance with their grand plan. You can't convince me otherwise. This isn't a spectator sport anymore, guys. This is serious. I know there were people that in the midterms, they're like, I'm not even going to vote. Whatever. That's fine. Coming into 2024, this ain't a game. This is not a game. If you have kids or plan to, or you have grandkids or whatever, you need to vote like their future depends on it, because there is a group of people pulling the strings from behind the scenes on the current regime. And they are going to see to it that your kids do not grow up in the same type of country you did. It's already going to be tough enough for them to do it, believe me, but they are going to make sure that that doesn't happen. They are going to make sure that your children have no future. They are going to make sure that your grandchildren are slaves to a corporate fascist communist state. That's their end game here. Do not underestimate these people. Do not think that enough people out there are going to see these things too and go to the polls and take care of it for you. Take an extended lunch break. I don't care if you got to use your PTO and flip your boss the bird. Take an extended lunch break. Go out and vote against these assholes. Show them we mean business at the poll. This is a fucking war. We are at war right now, spiritually and mentally. We ain't there physically yet. But I'm telling you right now, this is not a country that was born on just bending the knee to fascists and tyrants. That's not going to happen. So if you want, unless you want your kids to grow up in a fucking war zone, where I'm talking actual bang warfare, because that's how this is going. That's how this ends if we continue this World Economic Forum idealistic trajectory. That's how this ends. People will not go down in this country without a fight. I don't know who's going to win, but I'm telling you right now, if you don't want your kids to grow up in a fucking war zone, you need to get out and vote. Swallow your pride. No, he's not perfect. I get it. I'm not a huge fan of him either. But this is what we got to do, guys. This is what we got to do. The people who hate everything about us, want to take everything from us, want to destroy this country and rebuild it in their Marxist, communist, wet dream, have said, this guy right here is the enemy. Well, maybe that guy should be our friend for a little bit then, if he's the biggest threat to their power structure. That's all I'm saying. That is all I'm saying. Think about it. Think about it, and do not bitch. Do not bitch. If you don't vote, or you go out and you vote third party or whatever, do not bitch. I don't want to hear you complaining when exactly what I told you was going to happen happens. How many times have I been accurate on this show? Very rarely do I make a long-term projection a couple years out and I'm wrong. And it's not because I'm a psychic. It's not because I'm super smart or anything. It's nothing like that. It's because I watch patterns. I look at the way things go, and I can tell you what's going to happen 5 steps down the line. Because that's the trajectory we're on. And every now and then something comes and knocks us off that trajectory, and that's great. And I hope I'm wrong. But I can tell you, if we continue on the trajectory we're on, that's where it's going to end up, is civil fucking war. It's not a game anymore. So I don't want to hear you bitch if you didn't vote or you write in Mickey Mouse or whatever. Because you have made the conscious decision at that point that what I just laid out for you, the people that say you'll own nothing and you'll like it, who are pulling the strings of this country, that what I just laid out for you right there, the future I just laid out for you, is okay. And you had other things, and I just don't want to involve myself in politics. It just stresses me out so much. You know what's going to be real stressful? Breadlines. Because that's where we're headed. Breadlines. Shortages at pharmacies. Cyber attacks like they've projected. Neighborhoods getting carpet bombed. That's going to be real fucking stressful. A lot more stressful than you getting your lazy ass up to read a newspaper once a week. And maybe follow what the hell's going on in the world, because we live in such a centralized world. It's no longer, what happens in Washington doesn't affect me. I only, it's local politics, which is true. Local politics will still screw you over. But unfortunately, everything has become so centralized and so federalized in D.C. that everything the federal government does, unfortunately, does affect us on a daily basis. Now, look no further than the fucking grocery store if you disagree with me. So heed my warning. I am begging you. And I don't do that. I don't beg. I am begging you on behalf of my future children and the safety of your future children and grandchildren. Please do not put these crooked motherfuckers back into office. Because it ain't going to turn out good for anybody.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked what you saw, be sure to click the link in the description to get the full episode on Rumble. If you prefer to listen along, you can actually get us on Spotify, Spreaker, and iHeartRadio. You can also go to www.outlawstreamers.com to learn more about not just my show, but tons of other great shows and all the exciting projects they have coming up. Follow my socials at Caleb Isn't Funny on Twitter and Instagram, at Caleb Salvatore Comedy on the Chinese Spy app that is TikTok, and be sure to like and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Thanks, and we'll see you every Saturday for brand new episodes of That's Based. Peace.